Hey, good morning, friends. Well, end of the long 4th of July weekend. Everybody's probably back at work. Uh, History. A little bit of Cold War history, the leftovers of the Cold War, and some of the leftovers of the Cold War, I suppose. Looking back at where the split came in American education, when the timing was. Now, this came up about whether e pluribus unum should be put on the dollar bill, back on the dollar bill after it was there for what, centuries? So 56 was when In God We Trust was added. This is the middle of the Russian. It wasn't a Cold War, it was a financial war. And we were playing with bombs and doing research to make bigger bombs. Inside of this Manhattan Project thing was a huge tie to corporate media, to big media. The stories released around nuclear research, the atomic bomb research, were very well orchestrated. Along with those were other stories to mislead and make this stuff sound silly or supernatural or ridiculous. Godzilla was one of those things that came out of that time. It Even to the Godzilla movies back in the day, the first one was made in Japan and then it was taken over by American studios. And the whole line of radiation poisoning to the American public was presented as a Godzilla choice. And with all the experimenting, there was no Godzilla out there. But inside of this was a huge media machine, a huge public relations machine. You can go back and read about the Manhattan Project and its ties to media. And what's the name of it's in California. There's some big group meeting that's held every year of media people that is related exactly to the formation of the Manhattan Project. It was part of the what can we tell the people versus what can we, how can we trick the Soviets and not let them know what we're doing. This compartmentalization of the sciences was huge and inbred inside the industry. There are reasons for it. You cannot know everything about everything. So you have to have people focused on specific areas, specific research. And these aren't a lot of folks doing this. There's a lot of folks helping them. They are not by themselves. That's pure bullshit. But these heroes we've made, were made on the backs of hundreds of people, on decades, centuries, on our collective knowledge. So, and our tax dollars. So what happened during those times? This is the largest industries on the planet at that point. This is MIT. It's what's a university in Chicago, Illinois. Um, it is research universities in California. It is places being built or set up at the time, like our national labs. Some of them were discrete little nuclear research facilities until they became more public and well known. So back inside of this, the strength that was given to religion to help drive, that was given to faith to help drive the war machine, the propaganda machine. This was where to go to create the communists, the others. Faith is very good at creating the others. So to me, that's a tie. That's a piece of ancient history that has shown up today in this use of faith to unsettle the masses. I speak with confidence to these sciences. Not that I know them all, it's that I've seen them used. I know how to apply them. I know where they have been used. I know the equations that lead back into these things. If I had the time and the resources, I could go back through and prove whatever needed to be proved to get to where I was doing. So the training I got was out of the 50s. It was in the 70s. It was 30-year-old sciences. We have come so far since then. I can't keep track of this, but just following detectors, I learned of a new class of polymer detectors that replace scintillation crystals, but they're not nearly as efficient. They might have maybe 50% the efficiency, but the cost of them is very low. So, and they're very tunable, so you can tune a fish with those types of detectors. You could put multi-array detectors out there to tell you some different things. So this is my thoughts about how faith got so much cash, so much money, how it has been used to mislead us. The age of our planet settled and done. Uh, Bodily autonomy is settled and done. Human rights, the extent of them, has not been finished, but they exist. Global human rights. So, I don't understand the conversations we're having. Totally. I don't know where these go, where they're supposed to be done. I don't know where the true conversations or debates are. Wouldn't mind knowing. So, anyway, nuclear histories, 40s, 50s, and 60s. Faith and religion was used to help divide us against the Russian commie threats out there. It was used to create the others and sustain the wars. And it was also used to misinform the public because of all the secret work going on. There were tens of thousands of people that worked across the nation in little bits and pieces of secrets. And some of the people put them together. There's books out there. Uh, so, yep, yep. So much for another short one. Oh my gosh, if I'd flowed this out and put time chart and timelines and presentations together, there's another chapter or 5. Anyway, faith has a place. There is no doubt for that. Really not a debate or an argument. It's what that faith captures and places on us. And where we go from here. Vote. Should be finding some good questions for politicians. Our education system. Why is it so broke? Why as America can't we make things better instead of just breaking them and then blaming somebody, the others?